On September 16, 1931, a pivotal event in history occurred. It was on this day that one of the greatest icons of the pre-modern era, known as the Lion of the Desert, was captured, put on trial, and ultimately executed by Italian forces. This remarkable individual has become a symbol of bravery, dignity, and courage. But who was he, and what events led to his legendary status? To understand the significance of this story first, we need to understand what were the Italians doing in Libya. In the 1840s, France began colonizing Algeria, soon extending its grip to Morocco. Feeling left out, England seized Egypt. This dynamic left Italy eager to claim its share of territories, particularly Libya. They had ambitions and sought a piece of land that would grant them direct access to the Mediterranean. The Italians approached the British and French with their secret agreements that they are going to take Libya. Libya was under the control of Ottomans. Italians used a cunning tactic. They started to make economic treaties, started building ports for them. They started to send their people to live in Libya legally, and then they started complaining the Ottomans that their citizens are being harassed. They even sent an envoy to the Sultan of the Ottomans. Ottoman Sultan is confused that Libya is a safe place. What's going on? But it was all a tactic. But the Italians said, if our matter is not solved, we will take harsh action. So in September of 1911, Italy declared war against the Ottomans, and they sent in their naval fleets to Libya. Ottomans at this time were very weak. They had their issues going on in Greece, in Cyprus, and other issues, and their power was declining. So within a day, Italian took over all the coastal towns, all of Tripoli. British refused to allow Ottomans to move through their Egypt. Ottomans were forced to sign a treaty, and within a year, it was handed over to Italians in 1912. Italians took control of Libya, but they didn't control the people. Italians had the coastal town, but they didn't have the control of internal cities, internal villages. People of these areas, they kept on putting fights against Italians, and they unanimously decided to elect among themselves an emir who was Omar Al Mukhtar. So Omar went to study Islam as a child, and he was from a prominent scholarly family. His sheikh sent him to study in neighboring countries, and while he was in Chad, the French invaded. And he, as a young man studying in another land, he got involved in fighting for the Muslims against the French. And it was at that age that people saw in him bravery, dignity, and courage, and they gave him the title of the Lion of the Desert. French eventually won, so Omar had to withdraw back to his country of Libya, where he taught people, became a Quran teacher, and the place where he lived at, he became the most famous sheikh of that area. When the Italian invaded, he was in his late 50s. People went to him and elected him as his leader. But how are they going to fight the superpower when they don't have the weaponry, and Italians are more than them? So Omar started guerrilla tactics against them, like attacking at night, cutting off the supply lines. As he was the one who knew the desert, he knew the best mechanisms to attack. And the Italian soldiers could not compete with that level of tactics, and this is why he wreaked havoc in Italian lines. His name became famous in Italy. Newspapers with pictures of him, and the media started calling him the terrorist. Libyan government is officially now pro-Italian, but Omar goes against the people who have sold Libya to the Italians. One of his own people asks him that why are you fighting them? You know you are not going to win. He said, I will fight as long as I can, and I will die. And if I die, I will leave behind others who will fight for me. There is no such thing as surrender. I either win or I die. So the people took courage from him and fought with him, and he continued this war for over 20 years. In Italy, Mussolini comes into power, and he gives signal to his general Rodolfo Graziani to do whatever he wants. He shows no compassion and used very brutal policy in which no prisoners of war will be taken. Everybody will be killed, animals will be killed, and they will make the land uninhabitable. Italy started concentration camps for the first time in that region. These concentration camps were before the ones in Germany. In these camps, people were housed with very poor conditions like no water, no sanitation, no medicine, and around 50,000 to 100,000 people were killed. Italians would display the bodies of Omar's followers in the city to instill fear and prevent people from joining him, resulting in cities filled with mutilated and desecrated, burned bodies. They continued this practice until September 1931, when they managed to ambush Omar and capture him in the infamous Battle of the Green Mountains in Burqa. To eliminate any chance of Omar escaping, they initiated a sham trial within 2 days, with all the media present. They paraded Omar. Within that short period, it had already been decided, essentially a done deal, that he would be executed. Omar entered the court after he performed wudu and prayed 2 rakas before his execution by the Italians. During the trial, even the reporters were impressed that Omar didn't once indicated any fear or cowardice. Courage was coming from him even when he was in shackles. The judge asked him, "Don't you regret all you have done?" He replied calmly that "I have no regrets. I am not the criminal. You are the criminals here. I have done nothing wrong. I defended my land. I defended my people. I defended my religion. I have done nothing wrong. You are the criminals that have come and invaded my land." And the way he responded shook the reporters in the room, and even the generals wanted a picture with him because they admired his courage, though they hated him. He died the death of a martyr, and so with his death the resistance had to come to an end. There was no figure to replace him.